Wow, this might be the worst title I've ever seen. It follows the annoying trend of stapling an entire sentence when 2 or 3 words would have sufficed. There are pointless redundancies within the title itself, and it isn't even accurate. He has 4 res skills, and not one is a resistance skill. No idea where they got 9999 from, as neither the skills nor characters actually level up. Oh wait, actually it's his absorb shield, aka the protective aura from Ruby, but quantified for your inconvenience. Honestly, got no clue if this value is good or not, as they never compare it with anyone else. And finally, the Heroes Party isn't a special party at all. It's also an absolute nightmare to Google, and it's all presented in a vomit-inducing amount of colour. This all comes together to make a title that flows as well as a fat anaconda wedged in a drain pipe. The Strongest Tanks Labyrinth Raids. A tank with a rare 9,999 resistance skill got kicked from the Heroes Party. Good grief, that is just awful. But hey, it does do one thing right. It accurately reflects how much brain inactivity was put into the show. So it begins with one of these dungeon raids where the not-so-heroic group fights this beast. Our tank protagonist is shown to look weak, so the leader guy kicks him out. It later transpires the tank had a rare skill that allowed the rest of the team to transfer the damage they took to him. Somehow they didn't understand this after spending supposed years with him. I guess no one tripped over or got scratched in all that time. Anyway, on his journey home, he stumbles upon a strange girl who he quickly discovers is a homunculus, one made for combat no less. You'd think this would be an interesting development. An artificial weapon in the body of this girl. What is she capable of? Can he even trust her? Are there more of these things? Who may be after her? But nope, it never comes up again. She's just kinda there, doing nothing whatsoever. She doesn't even slay any monsters, merely giving buffs for the shield hero. I guess the writers felt they desperately needed an unknowledgeable character everyone can endlessly exposit towards. Oh yeah, and to have someone be lovey-dovey over the protagonist, as well as the entirety of the rest of the cast. I do give points that he's not as bland as most of the harem protagonists, and he is shown to be an actual leader. But I'll remove those same points, as there's more effort put into a casual fart than what he does to make them swoon in his presence. Honestly, the moment they enter his proximity, they fawn over him. Getting back to the plot, he arrives home where he learns his true goal, to find a magic wish-granting stone in one of these dungeons that'll cure his little sister of contriveritis. Oh yeah, and the artificial girl has a wish as well.
I want to know what would happen if I were human. I mean, being a robot's great, but we don't have emotions, and sometimes that makes me very sad.
They beat some gorilla things that show up and find the brand new dungeon they wandered from. A booming industry of raiding said dungeon appears, and our tank guy is forced to take charge for the benefit of the town. The people of this world use dungeons as a way to grind skills and collect resources, you see. So they assemble a team of strong characters, effortlessly head down level by level, speak with the final boss, and then defeat him. He then explains he has a console that spawns the monsters and gives management of it to our tank guy. So, glossing over the sudden creation of life itself, they have just discovered a method of indefinitely spawning monsters to level up the parties of the world. An infinite leveling up machine, if you like. So they ignore all that, and our tank uses the magic wish stone he acquired to cure his sister. Unfortunately, it only half cures her, so they have to delve into another dungeon to get another stone. It's like the writers wrote the end of the hero's journey way too early, and had to contrive a "your princess is in another castle" thing. Could they not have dropped this malarkey in the bin and had him support the town or something? Guys, we need to show our heroes fighting for a good cause. Quick, give her a sister he needs to cure. Phew, that'll be enough. Wait, but now he's cured her. How about we make it so he still has that sister he needs to cure? Phew, we sure are great writers, aren't we? So anyway, they all get invited to a ballroom in another town. Aren't one of these two supposed to be managing the dungeon back home?
Shouldn't you be working?
I got someone to cover for me.
Anyway, they get challenged to dive into the super dangerous dungeon that not even the 2 giant super bestest guilds have cleared. So after the mistaken embrace scene we've seen in many other anime before, they start the descent and immediately skip 49 levels of the labyrinth, and then they begin fighting the monsters. I think this is the perfect time to talk about the combat. Till now it's been the same formula. They get startled by a new type of monster, something bad happens, and they pull out a whole new ability to kill it in one hit. Add some awkward cuts and bad pacing, and that sums up what it's been till now. Here, however, they not only do that, but blatantly contradict stuff set up earlier, and even in the same bloody scene. They know this bone dragon is resistant to slashing, then immediately start slashing it, which does lots of damage for some reason. They say everyone but Rude will attack it outside of the dragon's range, but everyone closes in. They say the dragon is weak to fire, so they specifically say they'll enchant their weapons with fire, but then they don't. The dragon later uses fire itself, which contradicts being its own weakness. The dragon responds to Rude's provoke at first, but after a few hits supposedly attacks randomly, but just attacks Rude again, and then later responds to his provoke. The mage girl's supposed to be in the rear, but are able to wash away Rude's shield from the front, from the very direction where the dragon attacked from, then immediately is behind him again. It's all so crap. This combat was truly painful to watch. In my book, which I'm going to soon re-release under a different title and cover, and which I'm close to finishing its sequel, intrigue, I took an enormous care to lay out the strategies, the positions, the goals, the sentiment on both sides, long before the fighting starts, where all of it quickly but understandably shifts. Furthermore, I ensured all of it was crystal clear to the reader, with an obvious cause and effect, to truly enhance the emotions of every victory and defeat. This anime goes, Bone Dragon headbutt big shield guy. So just before that abysmal scene, the group has a little chat, where the samurai monster final boss thing explains, shock horror, he's not human. How are you surprised? You saw him transform into a giant skeleton for Pete's sake. You even acknowledged him as a monster when you first met, and knew he was one of these guardian creatures. The idea they didn't even question him was bizarre, but now it's downright bewildering. What, did the writers contract Parkinson's and forget each episode that came before? Actually, that might explain a few things. So after that, and the abysmal excuse of a fight, they use one of their party's abilities and teleport back to the surface for a pleasant night's rest, leaving a save point where they left off. Gosh, I almost thought they might face some smidgen of challenge there. So yeah, I didn't bother watching anything further. I lost enough brain cells on this nonsense already. In conclusion, the Stonkist Tanks Labyrinth Dungeon Den House Tower Palace Raids, The Quest for More Sister Cures, is easily the dumbest anime of this year.
So far.
So from the strongest tank delving deeper, we get the weakest tamer journeying onwards. The weakest tamer began a journey to pick up trash. Alright, so real quick. The title could have been 3 words and isn't accurate. She didn't begin the journey by picking up rubbish, nor did she set out to collect it. Thankfully though, this is all that it shares with that uninspired mess. Gonna come out and say it, this one is simply delightful. It centres around a likeable girl wandering this fantasy world, going place to place, bonding with new friendly characters. So in this world, when everyone turns 5, they get a special trait. Sewing, fire, sprinting, the ability to see future itself, cooking, or the best one yet, the odour skill.
I can smell you.
What? You can smell us?
I can smell you.
Anyway, our girl gets the tamer skill. These traits are then rated between 1 and 5 stars, so those with more cooking stars make better food, for instance. Our girl, however, ends up with no stars, and is seen as a horrid freak, ostracising her from her village and family. After a few years with this oracle lady, gaining a couple items and learning to snare mice, she is forced to embark on a journey vaguely towards the capital, though she can settle down anywhere along the journey if she likes. Shortly into it, she accidentally finds a disintegrating slime, one that will die by the slightest of touches. Feeling comradeship with it, she helps care for it, and together they go forth, discovering the unique abilities it has. Oh yeah, she also has an occasional voice in her head of what we're told is a past life, but could be anyone from our world really. Surprise, this one's an isekai.
Oh! Got me again!
Similar to Ascendance of a Bookworm, this one focuses on the small details of the world. Catching mice, satchels of holding, how adventurers live, the dumping site every town has. Man, I feel bad for the carpenters here, having to carefully handmake every chair, table and bureau, only for people to casually toss it away.
We then took all our new stuff to the tip and threw it away.
And just like Bookworm Ascendance, the slow, casual pace means it definitely won't be for everyone. Don't expect enormous climactic fights, or deep philosophical discussions, or intense emotional moments. It's just a relaxing exploration of the world with this cute girl. I haven't spoken about who or what she encounters, as I don't want to spoil, but I can safely say, of the anime that's come out this entire season, I strongly argue it's easily amongst the best. So yeah, the strongest is abysmally weak, while the weakest is fundamentally strong. It wants to build a delightful journey with fun characters, and did exactly that.